Welcome, everyone, to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. And tonight, do you like VR? Do you own a VR headset? Are you looking to purchase one of the cheapest headsets out there on the market, the Quest? If you are, I have some unfortunate news for you. Starting in August, which is basically now, the price is increasing on $100 on each of their models. So, if you were hoping to get one at the original $299 price for the 128 gig, it's now going to be $400. And if you're looking to get the 256 gig instead of $400, it's now going to be $500. But hey, there's more. There's always more. You get something. If you purchase it and register it between now and the end of the year, we're going to give you Beat Saber for free. The thing that's been out forever, and they've made their money 10 times fold over on that. But we'll kind of get into that as a group because, in my opinion, this makes VR even further outside of the reach of most because they're now getting into the realm of what I consider much better headset units than they have, such as like the Reverb G2 and the Vive Pro, because they're around the $500 to $600 mark, and that's where Quest has pushed themselves into without being as great or as good of a VR headset setup as they have. So we'll kind of go around the room and see what, all of us think about this. And, I guess let's start with the least technical person of the team, but the one who probably has played VR the longest is Shane. Shane, what do you think about the Quest raising its prices?
I'm excited for it. Keeps all the riffraff out of my VR world. It's just a bunch of crap. I mean, there's no reason for it. There's none. The economy is going to really start hurting here soon. And this is an excuse to just pocket more money. But guess what? They're going to lose money. They're going to, because I like you said, if you're going to spend that much, go up a notch and get a better system. That's like choosing between the Series S and the Series X. If they say, hey, we're going to raise the Series S up $100, all right, just give me the X. It's that simple. If they're going to raise the prices like that, although you are right, Pat, Beat Saber. That's the win right there. It's a scumbag move. It's to just milk money. That's it. I'm honestly surprised. And unfortunately, I hope this doesn't turn into a thing where everybody has it's a little pricier to make shit now. We better raise our prices up on something that's been out 2-3 years. When at this time things should go down in price, they're raising price. But what can you do? Not buy it. That's what you can do. I have the Oculus Quest 2. I have PlayStation VR for the original. I got them at their prices, and I will not pay a higher price for it. They're scalping. That's what they're doing. It's a scalper's price. They have them. They made them probably at the same cost, and they're going to raise the price on them just to make that more money, because prices for the parts and stuff may come up, but I don't know. It's a bunch of crap. It makes me sick. Makes me go in there and just destroy my $299 VR headset. But I'm not, because I still like playing it. So, Nick, what about you? Is it worth it for Beat Saber?
It's always worth it for Beat Saber. No. Come on, Mark Zuckerberg. You can't get people into the metaverse if you raise the prices. No people you're going to have only a select people in the metaverse. You're not going to have everybody.
No riffraff.
Yeah. But basically they say, the cost to make and ship our products has been on a rise. By adjusting the price, the Quest 2 will continue to grow our investment in groundbreaking research and new product development that pushes the VR industry to new heights, which is just basically saying bullshit, right? That's basically what this is. This is just a way for them to increase prices and pick something, right? Just pull out of the hat. What can we use as an excuse? Inflation's been in the talk, in the news and the talk recently, and things are getting more expensive. Let's just go with that. Let's roll with that and say, oh, we need to increase it because it's just costing us so much money to make these now. We just have to increase it. No, it's not. You're a multi-billion-dollar company that is going to do perfectly fine selling the Quest at the price that it was at, or currently still is at the time of this recording at the $299 mark. You don't need to write. I mean, and this is the problem with this is Shane's exactly right. People should just boycott and not purchase the item. And the reason why is because if you go out there as a consumer and decide after this price increase that you're going to do it, this gives justification to Facebook or to Meta, whatever the hell they want to call themselves. And this also gives justification to other companies to go ahead and say, okay, a product that's been out on the market for X number of years, because the Quest 2 has been out for quite a few years now. Let's go ahead and increase the price of it, right? What's to say Sony going $500 for the PlayStation 5? Oh, let's go ahead and make it $600 now. Or Xbox to say, hey, $500 for the Series X, let's make it $600. Or the Switch, or anything, any type of consumer product that's been out in the market for a set price for a number of years, they could just say, oh, well, it's just costing us more, so we're going to increase the price. And really what they're saying is, if you as a consumer are going to allow us to get away with it, we'll price gouge the hell out of you. We'll take every dime out of your pocket, and we're okay with that. And us as consumers should not be okay with that. Right. So this is just a stupid move. It's a bunch of PR bull crap for them to come out and give you all these reasons why they need to increase it. They don't need to increase it. They want to increase it because they figure people are suckers and they're going to still buy it, which unfortunately, that's probably going to be the case. Right. But that just gives credence to these companies to go out and just pull the rug from under you. It gives them the ability to price gouge and take from you because they know you're dumb enough to buy it. And regardless of what price they say, even if they increase it, which is the most absurd thing, because usually when we see technology go throughout the years, it goes down in price, not up in price. That doesn't make, unless it's a rarity or scarcity, but that's not the case for this, right? They're still making these products. They're just deciding we can increase the price because of X, right? X being whatever the hell we want to come up with, right? Whatever's in the news at the moment, we can just say that's the cause. Let's increase the prices, because we even look at things like, the recent thing, and I'm not trying to get political or anything like that, but like with gas prices, right? Gas got really expensive. It's starting to go down, but if recent news reportings have shown that Chevron and ExxonMobil have made record profits this year, which means they didn't need to increase the price. They just did because they could, right? And us as the consumers, we have to have gas because we had to put gas in our cars unless we have an electric car or something like that. Or some other method of transportation. And so we have no other purpose but to just buy it. And then so these companies, these big corporations are just price gouging and taking all of our money because they can, right? It's the bottom line, making profit over people, profit over everything, right? And they'll find any way to do it. And Meta, Facebook, whatever the hell you want to call it, has just decided, let's increase the price of this because we can. What do you think, Pat?
Yeah, I would agree with you. The biggest thing that I think that you brought up that I think is spot on is consumer electronics typically go down in price as they age, not the opposite direction. And now Facebook is trying this new junk. In my opinion, it's just a way for them to recoup their $3 billion loss in their metaverse because they pumped $10 billion into this stupid thing and they lost $3 billion. So they're trying to find a way to recoup and stem the hemorrhaging of money because losing $3 billion over the course of a couple of years is massive. I mean, that's an unfathomable number to me to lose $3 billion on something. At what point do you say this has failed? The metaverse, while in some aspects sounds like an interesting concept, it's just that, a concept, right? When you have like VR adoption is less than 20% of people out there. I think it's like even lower than that. I think it's lower than 10%. It's like a 9% adoption rate or something. And at some point, because they're talking about the Cambria coming out soon, right? And that's supposed to be about like an $800 to $1,000 headset. So now they're saying it's as good as the Valve Index with the Cambria will be, with a sight unseen, and I wanted to get into VR for a long time, but I can't afford a $500 headset. $500 headset. I spend that on a console for games that I play all the time, but there's not enough game market for VR to be that cost expensive. And I definitely am not spending $1,000 on a Valve Index, even though I love the way it looks, the feel of it, and the games that I've seen on it. I just can't bring myself to spend $1,000 on just a VR headset. So Cambria is going to be outside of my realm. And then now the Quest 2 is outside of the realm of what I want to buy. I think it's just a move for them to try to stop the hemorrhaging of their VR, their metaverse, because it's not making them any money yet, because I don't think they have a clue what the hell they're going to do in the end. They're just like, let's throw around this buzzword and get everybody involved in the metaverse. Come to the metaverse, and we're going to have the metaverse bubble pop here in a year or two when they put like 20 billion into it and it's losing like 6 billion or something. It's a gimmick from right now, from what I can tell. And I think a lot of consumers feel the same way. That's why they don't have a very high adoption of any of this stuff. But yeah, it's kind of an opposite. Like, I don't know what I would think if this becomes mainstream, because it's not a commonality in the technical industry. Like, you just don't see a price increase on an active running product that's been going on for a couple of years. It'd be like Sony and Microsoft with the Xbox and PlayStation going, okay, we've been releasing these for a couple of years now. We're going to decide, instead of a mid-gen bump, we're just going to increase the price of each console by $100. So PlayStation's going to go, you want the discless? It's going to be $400 instead of $300. You want the disc? It's going to be $600 instead of $500. And Xbox is going to go, you want the S versus the X? $350 and $600, So at some point, it's the dumbest. It doesn't make any sense to me. At this point, you didn't change any hardware out. You're buying aging technology. That's what you're buying, aging technology, because you didn't change the infrastructure. You did not change the architecture of anything. You may have put some software updates out, but even those older units got software updates. Now, if you do put new hardware in it, they're usually coming out and calling it like Quest 2. They had Quest and now Quest 2. That's usually when they do a price increase. If they're going to do it, they're like, hey, this unit is X percentage better than the old one, so we're going to make it a more expensive unit. Makes sense, right? Not that, hey, the 2021 and 2020 version are exactly the same as the 2022 version, and we're just going to charge you more for it. That is asinine. That technology is cheaper to produce because the processes and procedures they do to make the wafers and the chips and the electronic components have done nothing but get better. It didn't get worse. Chip shortages kind of hurt everything in the turn we are now, but that's not a permanent thing. Countries are ramping up. Heck, even our own country is passing bills to make it to where they're giving discounts and benefits and tax breaks to companies to start making more chips in the United States, And so other countries are doing the same thing. We've heard tons of stuff about the two largest chip manufacturing creating like $30 million and $1 billion new factories to catch up to demand. So it's a temporary thing that we're shortage on chips. But the cost of those didn't really go up. The cost of them has probably started to go down, It's just technology, And as Nick said, the only way I could ever see the price going up is if they no longer make the Quest 2 and it's become some retro thing where somebody's like, got to have it, or they only made 100,000 of them or 1,000 of them and they're hard to find. But that's not the case here. It's just Mark Zuckerberg trying to pull the wool over the eyes of all these consumers. But the way that the consumer market is right now is full of people who spend more money than they should, right? I mean, we see it all the time. Look at these pay to win video game or pay to win mobile games and stuff like that. People just don't care where their money goes, it seems like, anymore. So I would say even the price increase on this is not going to hurt them. I honestly don't see how it's going to help them either, because I think they've kind of, in my opinion, they've saturated the market pretty good over the course of a few years with the Quest 2. If they think the sales are going to increase on the Quest 2 to give them even more revenue, I don't even think it's going to make a blip on their radar, in my opinion, especially if you're losing $3 billion in revenue in this meta thing. You're going to lose $2.989 now instead of $3 billion with the number of people who are going to buy these things and adding an extra $100. Or the only other thing I can think of is that they've been losing money this whole time and they're tired of doing the Microsoft and Sony thing where they just eat the loss and hope their studios recoup it with the number of games they pump out. But that's just me. I have no clue why they're doing this. It makes no sense and it seems anti-consumerism, or it's opening the gates, as Nick and Shane have pointed out, for other companies to say, hey, you know what? Meta did this. It worked for them. I bet it'll work for me. And then we've got a shitstorm in the technology industry. Could you imagine a TV doing that? TV came out for $3,000. They're about to release next year's models. They're going to say, hey, it's getting expensive to make this stuff. This TV's $3,500 now, even though we're going to stop making them and go in next year's models. I don't care if you buy this or not. It's going to $3,500 instead of like a TV typically going like $4,000 to $3,000 to $2,000 to $1,500 before finally dying off, for that same model. Anybody who's watching that type of technology should be scared for the industry right now, because I am. If this is successful for them, it's an open season for other companies to do this.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's a big business thing, and it's gonna happen just like subscription services. Video games, movies, all that. Now, god dang, you got to pay a subscription to heat your butthole in a BMW. So it's sickening where this is going, and the BS excuses nobody believes. Nobody. I mean, anybody with half a brain cell knows that it's all about money, and it's all about pocketing the money. It's not anything else. I mean, you're right, Pat. It could be he's bleeding money out his butt. I don't care though. I'm not paying an extra $100. I don't care if he's sitting on a corner with a sign that will say, "I sell your personal data for food" or some crap. He can suck a butt. I ain't paying it. No Christmas.
Yeah. I mean, what do they got? I mean, really, I think they're now no longer the cheapest, right? I think HP Reverb is now cheaper than they are. They used to be cheaper than that, and now I think HP Reverb is now cheaper than they are. It's it's differing technologies. I don't know how else to put this except for Valve or Oculus, or the Oculus 2 is getting up there. It's comparable to those two models, but the price point is just insane to me for what it is. I don't know. And part of it could be that I'm just out of the loop too, to be honest with you. I've wanted a Quest 2 for a while, but I just couldn't bring myself to spend the $300 for the 128 gig model. And now I can't bring myself to spend, I definitely will not be bringing myself to spend $500 for it, or the 256 one or whatever, and $400 for the other one. I just can't bring myself to spend $300, now $400 or $500 for a VR headset. That's still in my eyes is a gimmick. It's a gimmick. I have no, there's a few games out there I really want to play. But they're not on that headset. I really want to play, Half-Life Alyx, but Half-Life Alyx has to be like completely dumbed down in graphics and tweaks made just so it'll play on this thing. So, and then, I'd like to play the Vader Immortal and stuff like that, but that list of games, I can count on one hand how many I want to play. And is that worth $500? To me, it's not. I mean, it's just not. That was my whole complaint with PlayStation back in the early days, when I was trying to go, do I want an Xbox or do I want a PlayStation? And I'm like, let me see, I want this game, that game, that game, and that game. $350 for a PS3. Do I want that? And I didn't get a PS3 for the longest time. And then I'm like, okay, now there's enough games. Now I want it, and I got it. So that's really where my conundrum's at. There's not enough games to make me say I want to spend $400 or $500 on this VR. Now, you guys both own it. Quest 2, right? You both have Quest 2. Do you think it's worth $300 that you paid for it?
Yes. Well, that's kind of a two question answer. So for me, from what I've put into it, no, I haven't put my $300 into it yet. But that being said, my son has put more than his $300 into it, plus, a little bit of mine. So in that
So as
aspect,
an individual,
yes.
no, but as a family, yes.
Yes, exactly. But you,
Nick, what about you, man?
Same. I mean, my son plays it quite a bit and definitely has put in the $300 for it. For me, I've only played it a little bit. So I haven't got my $300. If it was just for me, I even at this point, I probably wouldn't say it was worth it because I'm in the same boat as you, Pat. There's only a few select games on there that I really wanted to play and check out. And there's not a lot of software on VR in general that appeals to me, right? I mean, there are also some pretty cool games out there. Alex is cool, and Beat Saber and some of those other ones are pretty cool games. But even for me with VR, it still is kind of a gimmick because I can't even play. For me personally, I can't play VR for that long. I can only wear the headset for so long where I'm tired of this thing on my head and I'm ready to take it off. I don't want to be in this virtual world anymore, right? So I don't know. For me, it's like I can only wear it for so long. It's like kind of like the Virtual Boy. You can only strap your face to it for so long, and then you got to take it off, right? Just to also put it out there, Facebook or Meta is expected for the third quarter of 2022, their total revenue to be in the range of 26 to 28.5 billion. So that just tells you right there that they ain't hurting. All right. So there is no need to raise the price of this device. It's just they're trying to test the market, basically, I think, to just see if consumers will go for it. And if they do, then companies besides Meta can know that, hey, we can do this too, right? This just gives the okay. I mean, they're just trying to bleed the consumers dry as much as they can, really. Yeah, and I hope this hurts them, even though it won't, but I hope it does in some form or fashion. I mean, luckily it is an almost 2 years old system. It came out in 2020 in October. So this October, it'll be 2 years. But I think not every, but I think the majority of the people that probably wanted a Quest 2 probably already have one. But they're not in price increasing just the Quest 2 either. They're also the accessories that for the VR headset are going up as well. So all the accessories and stuff that they sell for this is also going up in price.
So, yep, like I said, we all know Meta makes tons of money. Mark Zuckerberg makes tons of money. It's the metaverse part of the company that's losing money, but they're losing $3 billion and the company's making multi-billion. So the company itself is fine. It's just that division, and they're probably just trying to, every company treats their division like their own business unit, right? This business unit's hurting us. We need to fix this, and no, I'm not trying to make excuses for them because I believe that they really are just trying to, cover your eyes, pull the wool over your eyes, and stick their hand up their ass and tell you it's a chocolate covered pretzel, whatever, But they're just trying to fool you into thinking that it's needed. But like I said, I hope Nick is right. I hope most people that wanted a Quest 2 has gotten one, and they don't make any more money because they ain't getting my money. I seriously was looking at them when they were $300, but $400 is outside of the realm of what I'm willing to pay for this, as well as $500. So I'm out. Take the thing from some Shark Tank. I'm out. Move on. So, you guys got anything else you want to talk about VR before we get out of the Matrix here?
Suck it, Mark.
The only last thing I'll say is, if you're thinking about a VR headset now with this price increase, I would just recommend saving your money, kind of saving that money back and just kind of pulling up a little bit longer, right? And then looking into a much higher end headset like the Index or the Vive or like one of those higher end VR headsets. If you're going to spend $400 or $500 on a Quest, you might as well just put that money aside, pull it up for a couple, more months or a year or something like that, and then buy you a really nice headset. Might as well go all out at this point.
Or don't buy anything and laugh at Mark Zuckerberg when he's out there. Come on, guys. This is Meta money.
Don't you want to go to the Gap in the metaverse?
It's not
Meta
real
Gap?
money. It's not real money. Yeah. So tell us what you think. Have you purchased one of these Quest 2s? Was it worth your money? If you haven't purchased one, do you want one? And are you now more enticed since they're more valuable? Is Beat Saber enticing you? Free Beat Saber enticing you to spend $100 more? Let us know what you think down in the comments. And as always, don't forget to hit that bell for notifications. Subscribe to the video if you haven't subscribed, and like the video. Since you've made it this far and all the way to the end, just why not? Why not help us out here? And as always, we hope you enjoyed this episode, and we hope to catch you in the next one.
See ya.